Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we are going to be covering a basic strategy guide for Shroud of Silent Mist. Now, the setup is going to be two presents on your starting board, one in the highest wetland and one in the highest mountain. The playstyle is constantly shifting and moving its presence around the board. The point is you're going to be slowly clearing the built-up lands using your left innate, as well as your damage cards with Fog and Dissolving. And over time, you're going to weaken invaders, and then they're just going to suffocate and die. It's a very thematic experience, and I honestly, I love the artwork of this spirit. The complexity is very high. It has a decent amount of offense control. It has a lot of fear listed here, low defense, and pretty much no utility. Let's flip the spirit board over and let's look at the special rules. So you're going to have three special rules here. The first one is gather power from the cool and dark. It says once a turn, when you gain a power card without fire, you gain an energy. So this is a way for Shroud to get extra energy throughout the game, which is kind of nice. The spirit really struggles with energy. So I think if the energy economy on top track was just boosted by one, I think would be better than this rule. Though I do think this rule is pretty cool thematically and would love to see more rules like this implemented into the game. The second special rule, I hate this special rule so much. I just think it's overly complicated and it really doesn't have an impact on the game. Well, I shouldn't say that. It doesn't have... It's needlessly complex for something that is so simple. So let's read what the special rule does. So it says, when targeting a land with a power, you may gather one presence of yours into target or an adjacent land. This can enable you to meet range and targeting restrictions. I'm going to show this throughout the video how this innate or how this special rule works. So essentially, if I want to play a card like Flowing here and it's 0 range, I can choose one of my lands that have presence in it, or I can choose a land like B8 here. And now, since I don't have presence, I can move presence into that land such that I enable the targeting of this card. In addition, this allows you to set up presence into adjacent lands such that your fog closes in or your left innate can get boosted. There is an aspect for this spirit that removes this special rule, and it's called Stranded, and eventually you'll see me playing that aspect when it comes to digital. But one of the things that Stranded does is it gets rid of this, and it just says you get to move 2 presence in the fast and 2 presence in the slow, and it streamlines the spirit and it makes it so much makes it flow so much better. Okay, the last special rule, and this is what makes people want to play the spirit. It is slow and silent death. It says invaders and Dahan do not heal in your lands. During time passes, so the end of the turn, you generate 1 fear, max of 5, per land of yours with damaged invaders. Gain 1 energy per land per 3 lands of yours with damaged invaders. So, and it does have this maxed at 5. First, I wish this max was just gone. I very rarely find myself generating more than, like, in a position where I'm generating more than 5 fear a turn. And that's just because when you're that far into the game, your tracks are pretty much empty, and you should just kill the invaders. Like, the game is just about over. So I think this is just, it's removing the, I shouldn't say coolness. It's just, I think doing crazy things is what draws me to Spirit Island. And I think it'd be crazy to see Shroud with 10 presence on the board with all damaged invaders. Like, I think that'd be really cool. And, maybe they play tested it and that was something that was able to occur. But to me, I find that a lot weaker than some of the oppressive things that already exist in the game. Now it says gain 1 energy per 3 lands of yours with damaged invaders. This is ideal. Once this is online, you could really feel your energy economy take a massive increase, but it takes time to set this up. So, or you could set it up, but then you're taking blight on your board. Okay, let's look at your growths. You are a 0-2-1. That means you are not placing presence on reclaim, but you gain a power card. Remember, if you gain a power card without fire, you gain an energy. You have a presence placement option where it's 2 presence at 0 range. And then you have a presence placement option that also gains you a power card. Once again, if you gain a card without fire, you gain an energy. Let's look at the tracks. So you end at 2 energy and 5 plays. The 5 plays is really nice. You have a water and air on top track, and then on bottom track you have a move, a presence, a moon, and a reclaimed 1. A lot of times when I'm playing this spirit, I go to the 1 energy and then I go down to 4 plays, and I try to get access to this part here, gaining 1 energy per 3 lands. So then you get energy here, and then an energy off reclaim, and that's 3 energy a turn, which is enough for you to sustain your energy economy. I find that the 2 energy spot is nice to have, but it requires a significant investment, and your cards aren't good enough to maintain with the tempo of the invaders. So what do I mean by that, and why is it relevant? In order to get to the 2 energy, you have to G2 followed by G2. I guess you could G2, G3, G3, which actually that could be a very interesting build. But then again, you also want to get to 3 plays. There's a lot of things with this spirit that are holding it back from being a true powerhouse. But yeah, I find this 2 energy fairly difficult to get without sacrificing. Okay, let's look at the innates here. We have the left innate Suffocating Shroud. It's a 0 range, slow power, 1 damage. And then the second tier says for each adjacent land with your presence, 1 damage to a different invader. These 2 tiers you're going to be getting with this spirit. And this tier here is essentially what Fog Closes In is. So this left innate would be 1 damage plus Fog Closes In. This tier here you very rarely get because you're going to need 4 Moon, which is going to require this part here. You're going to need at least 3 plays, and there's this Moon in front, but it also requires 4 air, which means you need to actually have 4 plays. So you'll need to have at least 4 plays, and then every single card needs to have air, which is possible with your cards here. So you could actually get it if you play these 3 cards, but then I mean I guess it could work. But for 1 damage, you're doing so much work. I don't know. In the games I've played, this just never comes up. And then the big meme with Shroud is this final tier 564. I'm not gonna go over how to get it, but I'm pretty sure. This is why. Because of the 6 air, you need to have at least 5 presence plus the top air, which requires your tracks to be completely empty, and for you to play all perfect element air cards as well as moon cards. Because you only have actually no, not all of them have to have moon, but all of them have to have air. And then one of them cannot have moon. But yeah, this is just a meme. It is very cool if you could get it, but just not worth it. Okay, the right innate. This is actually a very cool innate. You could push some Dahan. The second tier allows you to push 2 explorers and more Dahan, and then the third tier lets you do it more. I find that I usually get these 2 tiers here, and what I found with the spirit is I use this right innate to either disrupt builds or just move 3 Dahan to set up that with my defense card with Unnerving Paw. So let's look at my power cards. The first card we'll look at is Unnerving Paw. It's a fast power, 1 energy, moon, air, animal, 0 range, 1 fear, up to 3 damaged invaders do not participate in Ravage. So it's like a pseudo skip, or 1 fear, defend 1 per presence you have. So it's a defensive / a skip card. This card is essential to stemming the bleeding of the spirit. So ideally you're using this right in it, moving Dahan, and then defending the land. The Fog Closes In. It's a 1 energy, moon, air, water. So perfect element card here. And it's for each adjacent land with your presence, 1 damage to a different invader. Like I said, it's just like this tier of the left innate. And that lets you to move Dahan. Flowing in Silent Forms, Dart By, another perfect element card. 0 energy, fast power, moon, air, water. 2 fear if invaders are present. When presence in target land would be destroyed, its owner may, if possible, instead push that presence. And then this also allows you to move presence if you would like. So this card is a way to help get by some of those nasty Blighted Island effects. Some of those Blighted Island effects may say destroy a presence every turn, or every player destroys a presence. So you could pick a land on the board, let's say it's B8, and you could say everybody put your presence here, and then whenever you play Flowing, nobody loses a presence. All of the presents get pushed. So this is a way for you to kind of, it gives you some insurance against the Blighted Island card. It's definitely, maybe I won't use the word definitely. A lot of times it's win more, just because losing in Spirit Island is so rare once you've fully optimized the puzzle. And this is also in a multiplayer setting. It's unless everybody's playing extremely weak spirits, or if you're extending beyond single level 6, like I said, it's going to be very difficult to lose games. Um, so a lot of times this is a win more card in my experience. It does have a really cool interaction with I believe green, because it says when presence in target land would be destroyed, so green is destroying presence to stop ravages. Basically green doesn't have to destroy the presence, it just gets pushed. So not only does it conserve green's presence, it allows them to move the presence into sands and mountains, which maybe I'll do a synergy video between green and shroud. I don't think it's the like best combo, but there's definitely some synergy between the spirits. Okay, the last card is Dissolving Vapors. 2 energy, slow power, air, water, another 0 range, slow power, 1 fear, and then 1 damage to each invader. So this is like another damage to every invader, just like the fog closes in. I think this card is a bit overcosted within the confines of the kit. I think if Shroud had a little bit more energy, I think it's fair, but this is a card that you seldom play. Okay, so one of the traps a lot of players fall into when playing Shroud is they try to optimize, or I shouldn't say optimize, they try to overuse slow and silent death. Because it's cool, right? You want to damage invaders, you want to be doing your thing, generating your fear, but a lot of times it's better off just to kill invaders. Now this is going to be dependent on the adversary. Like England or Scotland, you might want to keep invaders around. But against Prussia or France, you might just want to kill the invaders. So I feel like more players try to keep invaders around when they really shouldn't. So let's see how the board looks here. So we have Jungle as a starting explorer. A lot of times I love to G2 top bottom, and I am by no means a Shroud expert. I mean, you guys know I've played the game just way too many times, but so I don't know all the different builds. I'm pretty sure this is like the general build G2 top bottom followed by a G3 turn 2 tends to be what players go with. So what I like to do, I like to do fog closes in and flowing. And the idea behind this is I'm going to get my left innate as well as the fog closes in. So this gives me 1 damage, 2 damage. So if I want, I can set up 2 farms. In addition, I'm generating a lot of fear, and I can move Dahan around. So it really activates my innates. And then next turn, I can set up Unnerving Pole to defend 1 land, followed by a draft. And that's usually what I've been doing. Maybe there's a better build. If there is, post it in the comments. I'd love to learn more about this spirit. Okay, so we're going to use our flowing, and I could choose this land here, but I would actually like to get presence over here into B4. So I'm going to choose to generate 2 fear, and because of my special rule, it's going to move presence into that land. So this is where we're at. We're going to allow those builds, and there's the mountain. So the mountain explore here. Now, a lot of times the fog closes in, plus my left innate means I actually can clear a land, and that's what I'm going to do here. I want to, so I could either set up fear farms, or I could just completely wipe out a land, and I could either wipe out this land or defend it. Just thinking on how I want to approach this. Usually I wipe out one of the lands, and then I defend the other, and then I take a blight to scale. Typically what I do, I could go and be very greedy here, and instead defend this, take this blight to scale, and then try to get ahead by killing that explorer, stopping a build, and then generating fear here on B6. I think I'm going to do that just because I'm feeling a little bit greedy. So we'll use my left innate here. And I already have presence in the land, but this is going to allow me, my special rule will allow me to move a presence in the, or when I'm using this innate, and I can actually move a presence into an adjacent land. So I'm going to use that to move a presence into my B8. I'm going to choose to move my B6 presence. I'm doing that, oh, actually, I do not want to do that, because like I said, I'm taking a blight to scale. So let's actually move the presence into my, my B5 here. Just kind of separating everything. I'm now going to use my push a Dahan I'm going to push this Dahan from B7. I'm going to push that Dahan into my B4. And you know what? I think I will move a presence into... Yeah, I think I will move a presence into B8 just so that I can play around... what's the word? So I could play around the 2 cards of Defend 5 with presence, with Dahan and presence. Ooh, heavy farming. That's a good one to pass up, as that's one of the edge cases. We're now going to use the Fog Closes In. Once again, I'm going to target this land. I can move a presence because of the special rule. I'm going to move this presence, 1 damage. And I'm going to generate 1 fear from my last special rule here. So once again, I've now created a fear farm here, and this invader is not going to heal because of my special rule. I've planned to set up a defend over here on B4, and I'm going to take the Blight to Scale on B8. Let's get a power card here. And we drew the God tier cards here. So this is typically how the game works. Gosh, this is just insane. So no fire here. So whatever card I pick here, I'm going to get at least 1 energy. I drew a defend with Call to Guard, which allows me to defend both of my lands. I drew Call to ISO, I drew a Slow to Fast, and I drew Encompassing Ward, which would actually defend both of my lands for me if I really wanted to. So this opens up tons of builds. I could grab Ward, defend both lands, and then I could try to plan to save Unnerving Paul for possibly this land. I could instead grab Call to Guard and defend both lands that way, and by grabbing Call to Guard, it means that I save an energy because Encompassing Ward costs me an energy, so I gain energy by grabbing Call to Guard here. I think that's probably the play here. I could go Encompassing Ward, play this card, and then use this as a downturn to maybe possibly G3 again. But let's grab Call to Guard. I mean, Call to Guard is, in my opinion, the best card there. We'll go put a presence here on my B2. And we will use Unnerving Paul and Call to Guard. And actually, I need to move a presence. Let's put my presence over here. I'll play those cards. I'll use my presence move to move this presence into my B8. I have Unnerving Paul here. Defend 1, or defend 2, 1 fear, and then I have Call to Guard here. I'm using Call to Guard here. I want to connect my Dahan such that I can play around Cultural Asim. This is unfortunate here. So smaller ports, that's just going to add a town. Stricken does nothing, and then I have Settlers Encroach. I'm going to push this town over here to B2. Oh, I should have just left it. Well, is what it is. So those both cleared. Funny enough, if I didn't find the defend, Settlers Encroach would have pushed the town out, and that would have solved the blight that I was going to take on B8. So just keep that in mind here. So like my plan of taking the blight to scale would have actually worked. I would have not have taken the blight, and I would have gotten ahead that way. And those are the risks that Shroud needs to take. It is a weaker spirit, and there's these gambles that as the game progresses, you will need to take to have the game optimized. Okay, I should probably stop talking because we are getting near to 18 minutes. Let's reclaim here, and let's try to clean out the rest of the buildings. So we drew a couple fire cards. These are both great cards. This is Defend 5, and this is a Fast Disruption. So even though I don't gain the energy with these cards, these are cards that I'm considering. So I am going to grab Lure of the Unknown. I don't get the energy, but I want to use that to disrupt my B5 here. Now I could play around Beast Damage. I don't think so. I think we just do these 2 cards. These 2. So if the Fog Closes In plus my left Innate is active, so I'll have some serious damage, and then I can set up a defense over here on B3. So let's move that presence. Let's move a presence to B7. Actually, we will do this instead. We'll go presence into my B6. Lure of the Unknown, moving a presence from B6, and we'll pull that Explorer out. Once again, I could play around Beast Damage. I don't want to. I just want to create a pocket. Should have played around Beast Disruption, as this would have been pretty amazing for us. And, okay. Blights. And there is an edge case there with that coast. So coastal coming up means this is going to be a problem. And that is the land that I decided to just let go. Luckily, I do have a defend over here on B3. So I'm going to use my left innate to move a presence into that land. I really wanted to pocket here, but I think because this came up, I need to set up a way to handle that land. And then we will do the fog closes in this land. Moving a presence, and I get 2 damage. So we go damage, damage. I got 2 fear off that. And I have the nice call to guard here, and then I can set up a nerving pall over here on B2. So a lot of times at this point, I'm forced to G2 because I want to get to 3 plays. And I also, what's really cool is I can move a presence first. Do I want to? I think we do. Like that. And then I can place my presence. So we can go presence, presence. I play my cards that I want to play here. And then next turn, I can reclaim, and I'll be set up very nicely with 3 card plays. And I have my Dissolving Vapors. I have my maxed out left innate. I'm in a pretty good spot. Oh, wow. And this is where drafting that error card really matters here. So I had to draft. This is where if you wanted to create guides and openings and really deep dive Shroud, in order to reach this state here, I needed to have played a 0 cost, 2 0 costs, and one of them could be fire. So if they were 2 zeros with, or it could be a 0 and a 1, and the 1 not have fire, it would work to set up this setup here. So we're going to do this. We're going to gather a Dahan. Do I want to move a presence? Sure. Defend. And I have flowing as well. We'll use flowing here. In case there's like an edge case here. And there is. We keep getting the edge cases this game. Well, I guess I could pick here as the edge case for Diaspora. Oh, but this does. I guess I push Explorer. Oof. Beast move. Han push. Guess we'll go there. Remove something from in the land. So I can go remove the town. I think we do that just trying to clean up the game. Remove something from a land with presence. Dang. I guess I go here. Because that clears. That's the build. And we are just about there. We are so close to winning the game here. I think I win next turn as I double defend, and that should win the game. So let's use my right innate, moving a Dahan into... Oops, let's use my right innate, moving a Dahan from B3 into B2. We'll use... Oh, actually, I cannot do that. It's actually... Get set up a defense here with Unnerving Paul. I could actually G2 again and just grab Call to Guard. Oh, no, I just do Dissolving Vapors here. And then we use my left innate. And this is what I was just saying earlier, where you could just, like, it's better off just to kill invaders. I know a lot of players, they get caught up in the, trying to milk the fear here. I'm just going to G2. This is where I have that Reclaim 1. A very nice effect to have. And just surrounding the invaders, I'm going to Reclaim 1, my Call to Guard. I'll play my 2 cards. And this is where I have that double defense, that Call to Guard. Defend 2, Unnerving Paul. Defend 6. And we can push those explorers out of that land here. And that is it. That is GG. So a very solid game with Shroud. I think we showed the spirit pretty well here. I mean, we drafted great defense. We even showed drafting a fire card. There are plenty of fire cards that are great on this spirit. A good one, like, let's see if I can find it. Quicken is really nice on this spirit. as it's a defend 10 and it's a fast damage effect. So I really love this card. The fire card I drew this turn or this game with Lure was another great card with the Spirit. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.